My partner and I have been playing with money as one of our ways to figure out how to move up a stick. And when we first started playing and toying with abundance, concepts of abundance, she dragged me off to a casino. And having come from my dad was a serious pastor, I was surprised that I survived walking in the door the first time. But through the years, we have played with slot machines, and you've told us that we really didn't have control over the slot itself, but we had control over rendezvousing with which the slot was going to hit. And we've had great success rendezvousing at perfect times. We have amazing stories.
Rendezvous is a wonderful word, isn't it?
Yes.
And when you're following your feeling, right, can you feel how those rendezvous can become more timed?
Yes.
Yes.
And the stories and the timing of those have been fabulous. But we wanted to have a sense of an experience that felt like we had more influence, not just rendezvous, but to see if there was any additional influence we could have. A friend of ours always plays roulette, and she has an uncanny ability to walk up to a table and hit a specific number. A lot of people put money on all the numbers, which doesn't make sense to me, but she'll put money on one number and it hits. And we have watched her do it over and over and over and over. And so when the last time we went out to Vegas, she said, let's go play. And of course we figured the only number to play was this woman's number, which was 29. And so we put money on 29. We put $5. We took $20, put a $5 chip on. We figured we're going to go stay there for 4 rolls. If we didn't hit, we were going to walk away. On the third roll, it hits 29. And I have to tell you, I thought I was going to pee in my pants, because it was an amazing experience to intend it and see it. In a 24-hour period, we hit it 5 times, where we walk up, put money on the table, and hit it. And so over a period of now a year and a half, there's been 20 times where we have done that exact thing, walked up and put money on it. Here's my question.
Wait, the room is emptying out.
I figure 29 is going to get even more powerful. But there are moments, I am an eternal optimist at the same time that I used to believe that I was a total loser around money. Those don't seem to go together, but I have moved way up the stick. Now I have a reputation for being incredibly lucky, although Val is really, truly the lucky one. When we go to casinos, people follow her around because anything she gets close to seems to hit. So, but here's what I'm wondering is, sometimes I will sit at the table and I absolutely, with every fiber of my being, I know it's going to hit, and it doesn't. And I think that's interesting. It's not like I'm depressed. I just am curious how it felt like absolutely it was going to, and it didn't.
Well, what we would encourage you to do is begin to notice the subtle and sometimes not so subtle differences. In other words, if you can reconstitute or regurgitate a memory of what you were feeling, what the level of excitement was, or what the level of calm was right before the culmination that you were looking for, then you know what to reach for vibrationally. Because there's this feeling, sometimes Esther will say, I don't know if this is excitement or fear, and which is an interesting thing because they're very different on the vibrational scale. And we say, what that means is the desire is very strong, and so she's familiar with what it feels like to have energy focused in that way. But it depends on which end of the stick she's vibrating on, which way that actually feels. And so a feeling of calm expectation, this is the next logical step, is really the place that you want to be vibrationally and emotionally right before something manifests. That's what we were getting at as we were talking about, as you begin to expect wonderful things continues to unfold in every day, not just after you have made a trek across the country and got on a train and a bus and a boat and a helicopter. In other words, there are all kinds of efforts that you make in order to assure a good time in a situation like this. So you vibrate yourself into a more allowing place of expectation. In other words, you expect by virtue of what's around you. Your expectation comes more into alignment. We want you to reach the place where that expectation for good things is alive and well at all times. So a game like this that you are playing, where you can feel, you know that feeling of being off the wall excited. Well, usually that feeling of being off the wall excited is not the way it feels right before something wonderful happens, because that's a sort of edge of wanting something that you don't believe. That's why it feels off the wall exciting. When it feels like the next logical step, when you say, but of course, you see, we want you to reach this place where you're not testing it, you're just knowing it. You're not saying, universe, show me what you can do, or show me what I'm now able to allow. There's no test here. The test has been taken and passed long ago. I'm a worthy being. Good things are supposed to happen to me, and they do, in lots of different ways. Why not in this way too? I'm at the casino table. This is the game I'm playing right now. This is the vortex that I'm choosing right now, through which I would like well-being to flow. But I'm not here testing the universe, testing my alignment with the universe. I'm here to have a good time, you see. Whole different vibration. We don't encourage you to test the universe, although you can. It will give you everything. In other words, there is nothing that will ever be withheld, but there is something that goes screwy in your vibration when you test. And what it often is carrying what somebody else is doing. If you notice that you can be luckier when you're on your own.
Yes.
Jerry and Esther talk about how their world feels magical as they move through life experience, the two of them. But enter someone else and things change just a little bit, because they self-consciously can't help but see their own life through the eyes of whoever's looking on. They don't want to do that, but it's sort of just a byproduct of being aware that somebody's aware that you're aware that they're aware that you're aware that you're aware that you're aware. And when you reach this place that you're so in love with who you are, and you're not trying to make anything happen for any other reason other than you think it might make you feel good. And sure, you're a teacher of deliberate creation, but who cares where you are? The best teaching that you ever do is when you're not doing what you mean to do, and then you do what you mean to do. In other words, you're all trying so hard to be perfect, where your best teaching happens when somebody watches you screw up. And then you say, oh, that didn't feel so good. I think I'll clean up my vibration a little bit. And they say, how are you going to do that? And you say, I have no idea. I've got this bag of tools. I haven't been applying them for a while. I think I'll get some of them out and dust some of them off. And, oh, yeah, I think I'll do whatever I can to make myself feel better. And then before you know it, you're back in alignment. And those very fortunate people that had the benefit of watching you out of alignment and in alignment, out of alignment and in alignment, and more importantly, getting in alignment because you willed yourself into alignment. As you demonstrate, I don't need to be lucky. I don't need other factors to line up in some exterior way. I control my fate. I control my fate because I control my vibration, and I control my vibration because I care about how I feel. So I have fun whether I win or lose. This is entertainment whether I win or lose. I like it when it lines up. If it lined up every time, they'd haul me out of the casino. If I won every time, they wouldn't let me in. They'd put me in some sort of a cell. They'd call me a demon or a witch. In other words, all kinds. Now we're getting carried away, but you see what we were getting at.
I do, because one morning I walked down and I just was walking by a casino. I had no money, by the table, and I thought, what kind of a day is today going to be like? And the ball in that instant dropped into 29. And it was electrifying. It's like I ran upstairs to tell Val, guess what? It was so exciting. And
it was as good as winning money, wasn't it? Because
you know what? It's exactly right. It was because there was another time where I was all by myself, nobody was around, and I put $10 down. I won like $360 on the very first roll, and everybody at the table's looking at me like, wow. And I'm thinking, yeah, but there's nobody here to get excited about it. So you're right. It was so exciting to watch that drop in there.
So do you create your own reality to show off for others?
I'm embarrassed to say maybe so.
Well, you are a teacher and an uplifter, and that's just fine. Do you create your own reality because you can't stop doing it?
Sure.
Do you create your own reality because you were born to do that? Do you focus because you can't cease focusing? Does the universe assist you in endless ways? In other words, of course, yes, 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 yes. But here's the question that is really worth pondering and feeling your way into an answer that feels good to you. Do you focus on purpose to try to affect some manifestation? Or do you focus on purpose for the sensation of energy alignment? Most important question that we will ever ask you. Because most people, I'm willing to learn the game so that I can affect that manifestation. And of course your manifestations are affected by your vibration. But when you say, I'm focusing for the pleasure of the sensation of the energy alignment, now you're saying, I'm focusing so that I can be who I am. And in doing that, you become the allower of all things that you've intended even before you got here in this body. Can you feel the difference? So, yes. One last question. Would you rather align with a feeling that feels good, or would you rather align with number 29? Or do they have to be separate?
Yes.
In other words, can that you are choosing in the alignment of number 29, can that be the excuse that you're using right now to find the feeling that feels good? You seeing what we get at?
Yes.
So when you integrate it all together, in other words, but the most important reason that I'm doing it is because I want to feel good.
Right.
I want to feel good. I want to feel good. And in time, you'll always feel good. We do. We always feel good. We always feel good. Sometimes we feel good because you are interesting. Sometimes we feel good because you are expanding. Sometimes we feel good because you are experiencing love. Sometimes we feel good because we are experiencing love. Sometimes it is because of what we are seeing with you. Sometimes it is because of what we are pondering with us. In other words, sometimes the connection that we are guiding you toward comes forth in the form of love, sometimes in the form of interest, sometimes in the form of passion, sometimes in the form of contentment. In other words, there is no reason for you to ever feel other than good. It's who you are. Good time for a segment of refreshment. You're welcome.